And to Birmingham, it's the industrial pioneer city. This is the place where Matthew Bolton and James Watt developed and patented the steam engine, and that is what really started the industrial revolution. But don't get it wrong, this is not just an archaic city. This is the youngest city in the UK. 45% of Birmingham's population is under the age of 30, and it's in this vibrant city, which is also the international partner of Johannesburg, that we are broadcasting live on our ABSA Red Bus, partnered by Barclays. It's very, very good to be in your company. We continue our travels through England, and we now find ourselves in Birmingham. It's the city that's going to play host to the match that all South Africans are holding their breath for. It is tomorrow that the Springboks take on Samoa at Villa Park. We'll be chatting a little bit more about that later on in the show. But first, let's get you up to speed with what else has been happening here at the Rugby World Cup. All right, it was with great sadness that we received the news of the passing of a fellow sports journalist, Dave du Toit, who died after a short illness. Tributes have poured in on social media, while Cricket South Africa and the South African Rugby Union have also sent their condolences. He covered sports such as football, rugby, the Proteas, Olympics and Paralympic sports. He was 57. Wales received an official warning from the World Rugby following a breach of the spirit of the Rugby World Cup terms of participation regarding training. Players from outside the selected 31-man squad took part in a practice session ahead of the Pool A game against England. The global body says teams have been warned. And finally, Romanian Valentin Ursache has been cited and will appear at midday today for an act of foul play in the match against France. While life does not get any easier for the Fijians, their star player Nemani Nadolo will appear before the Citing Commission on Monday for that tip tackle in the clash with the Wallabies. All right, let's recap what happened last night. There was just one fixture, and it was a one-sided affair between New Zealand and fellow African contestants here at the Rugby World Cup, Namibia. Of course, New Zealand running in a number of tries. However, the New Zealand coach, Steve Hansen, was left to have to speak about stoppages in the game and what that could mean for fans wanting to actually enjoy it. So let's take a recap of what happened. The result was 58-14 in the Pool C match in the All Blacks' favour. However, Hansen fears that World Cup supporters could run out of goodwill if the games are blighted by the kind of stoppages, faulty scrums and endless TMO interventions. And this is not the first time that we've heard them speak about how long it actually takes for that TMO to make his decision. As said, we're in Birmingham. We're looking forward to tomorrow's match with the Springboks up against Samoa. However, there's a fixture tonight, and our ABSA Red Bus, partnered by Barclays, is going to be making its way from Centenary Square, which is where we're broadcasting this morning, to the Fan Park to bring you that match on SABC to later on. So the fixture, it's Argentina up against Georgia. Argentina closed the ranks around lock Mariano Galarza, who was suspended for 9 weeks for eye gouging an opponent in their opening game against New Zealand. They will appeal against a decision that they consider to be wrong, and they'll attempt to use it as motivation when they face their Pool C opponents tonight, that match in Gloucester. So we're going to be getting the vibe in the Fan Park in Birmingham as our ABSA Red Bus will be making its way from Centenary Square through to the Fan Park here in Birmingham. Let's get an idea of what's been happening in the Springbok camp now. Meyer admitted that Samoa is the most physical side that they will go up against in their Pool B matches here at the Rugby World Cup. And what does that mean for Duane Vermeulen, who just 2 months ago had neck surgery? Well, Meyer has welcomed the kind of attitude that Duane Vermeulen has brought. He said that he just can't wait to get out onto the field because that's where he belongs. Now, the team had initially said that they were only going to let Vermeulen out onto the field for 20 minutes and then keep him for the next game against Scotland. But Vermeulen said, if it takes 80 minutes for me to play, I'm going to be out there. So that's the kind of attitude that our coach, Hanneke Meyer, has welcomed. What else is happening in the Springbok camp? Our TCC Simon Burke finds out.
It's been a week of tough training here in Birmingham, and on Saturday, all the Springboks, both the old hands who've won a World Cup already and the World Cup debutants, will be hoping that it all comes together on the day.
Hopefully I get some game time. Very excited to make for me it's obviously my Rugby World Cup debut. Looking forward to the challenge. They will hold a very physical challenge, big, hard boys, so yeah, looking forward to the game.
Yeah, pressure, I think it comes with the game for any player. And yeah, to start again, it's a great opportunity for me to prove my worth for South Africa. And yeah, it's a big game ahead of us against Samoa. And the only thing is, as a team we need to perform well. And if it's a team we perform well, we'll have a good result on Saturday.
The waiting seems to be the hardest part for the Springboks. Saturday cannot come quickly enough. I'm Simon Burke, bringing you the latest from the Springbok camp.
All right, so our TCC Simon Burke just bringing us the latest from the Springbok camp, and as ready as they are to take on Samoa, South Africans are holding their collective bated breath to see what happens at Villa Park tomorrow. I've made my way outside of our ABSO red bus partnered by Barclays, and I'm outside on the Centenary Square. Now, it's a very special square this for the city of Birmingham. It's a meeting place. They have a number of cultural activities, and they're also going to be having a massive arts festival this weekend to coincide with the 2 Rugby World Cup matches that will be taking place here in the city. And the man that's been behind that is Councillor Ian Ward. He now joins us, and I'm going to speak a little bit about these owls because they're absolutely magnificent. You've got 89 of them around the city, and when I asked one person, I said, why owls in particular? He goes, because Birmingham's a hoot.
That's right, yes. So this is the big hoot. 89 owls around the city, creating a trail for people to go. Lots of people taking selfies in front of them. And next week they'll be auctioned to raise money for the Children's Hospital here in Birmingham.
Have they been put up for the Rugby World Cup to coincide with the Rugby World Cup and the arts festival that you're having?
Yes, that's right. So we're bringing together the big hoot, all the owls sponsored by businesses throughout Birmingham, schools throughout Birmingham. The arts festival that we've got this weekend called the Big Weekend, that'll be taking place. So you're wandering about Birmingham, we'll come across arts activity as you go, and we're also animating the route between our fan park down in the east side of the city centre and the venue at Villa Park, so that as fans walk between the fan park and the ground, there'll be arts activity entertaining them as they go.
We need to know, though, at Villa Park, is it ready? Is it ready for the Springboks to beat Samoa?
Yes, Birmingham is an international city of sport. We've hosted more world and European sporting championships than any other UK city. We've been preparing for the World Cup for 5 years now, so everything's in place. We're set up for a great weekend. The South Africa-Samoa game, which has now become a very, very important game, that precedes England playing Wales, which will be screening down at the fan park. So Saturday's a big, big day for the city and a big sporting day for both South Africa and England.
We're actually going to be going down and parking the ABSO red bus inside the fan park. So we are going to be getting that vibe. We're looking very, very forward to it. I believe that there's a 100 square metre screen that's going to actually be bringing the match to all of the fans and spectators that come there. Just tell us a little bit more about the fan park.
Well, it's constructed down in the east side of Birmingham. It's the largest fan park in the country, and it has the largest big screen in Europe. So it's free to get into. There's all sorts of rugby activity going on. So we're encouraging families to turn up, get your kids to have a go at the various skills of rugby, and enjoy the match on the big screen. If you haven't got a ticket for the 2 games we're hosting at Villa Park, it's free to get into the fan zone. So come down there and watch the games.
Lovely stuff, thank you very much. That's Councillor Ian Ward, who has been integral in putting together all of the Rugby World Cup activities that will be taking place for the 2 Rugby World Cup fixtures that the city is going to be hosting. So we came from the birthplace of the game in rugby to Birmingham. It wasn't such a long ride, but we enjoyed it nonetheless. Take a look. We're just outside of our hotel now, and it's time to say goodbye to rugby. My highlight of actually being here at the birthplace of the game is seeing the ethos of the game, the sportsmanship, the gentleman manner in which players conduct themselves. You get to see that in just the warmth of the people here in rugby. That's been absolutely amazing. I can't wait to actually come back.
Yeah, I think people here, they've been so great, you know, just the way the hospitality as well has been great. And it's just a part of history that is in this place. I think there's so much just to talk about. we only probably just touched a small little tiny bit of things.
We certainly did just scratch the surface, and we look forward to bringing you more facts, more understanding of the traditions around rugby when we come back. But for now, it's on to Birmingham.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So it's been a gloriously busy show coming to you for our first one from Birmingham, and rightly so, because this is actually a city where 45% of their population is actually under the age of 30. I mentioned the importance of the Centenary Square. Over there is a war memorial, and it's dedicated to all of those heroic souls that lost their lives during World War I. And on the borders of this actual squares, also some landmarks here in the city. They've got the magnificent Birmingham Library, and then just behind us we've got the Hyatt Regency. And now the GM of that hotel, he was headhunted, a South African, Mario Flanagan. He joins us now here on Morning Live. Good to chat to you. Thank you very much for coming so early. So I understand that you were headhunted to actually come here because you're a man that knows how to host sports fans during major events.
Correct. I joined the Hyatt in 2007, preparing for the World Cup football in Johannesburg in 2010. Subsequently, the company transferred me to London, and in 2012 we hosted the Olympics in London. Unfortunately enough, 2 years ago I was transferred to Birmingham with the Hyatt to do a £6 million refurbishment, and now hosting the Rugby World Cup in Birmingham.
What is it like to be a South African living and working here in Birmingham?
Well, it's a proud achievement to be a South African, especially working in the city of Birmingham. It's a young, rejuvenating city that's continually doing things differently, and it's amazing to see what they've done in such a short period of time. We always know to say Birmingham being the second city to London, but we like to prefer to call it the first city outside of London. And as you'll experience your time with us in Birmingham, you'll see exactly why we love Birmingham so much.
What can fans expect here? Because it seems quite a pity that they're only going to be hosting just 2 Rugby World Cup fixtures.
Yeah. Oh, fans will expect amazing things in Birmingham. It's probably one of the most friendliest cities in the UK, where we've got so much diversity and things to be doing in the city. I mean, we sat in front of the largest library in Europe. You've got a beautiful hotel out that side. You've got more canals than Venice. And it's also the party capital as well, with all the stag parties and hen parties happening all the way down Broad Street as well. So, if anything, they're going to have a blast of a time.
And what is the Hyatt going to be offering? Because, like I said, you're a man that knows how to host people that come for major sporting events, the ones that you've been involved with. So what special is your hotel doing?
Well, for ourselves, I mean, we do things all the time in our hotel. For the Hyatt Hotel, we've got a massive, the new Gentleman and Scholar pub, which we created around the Lunar Men and the City of 1,000 Trades. So we'll be hosting a Rugby World Cup football matches live in our pubs as well, and in the hotel around the reception area, and just making a lovely atmosphere as well within the hotel, just to blend in with the city.
Have there been lots of South African supporters?
I cannot say. It's supporters, yes, definitely. Loads of South African supporters, and a lot of South African jerseys all around the hotel.
Which bodes well. So I'm sure we're going to hear lots of cheers for the Springboks tomorrow as they take on Samoa. Thank you very much. That's Mario Flanagan. He is the GM of the Hyatt Regency here in Birmingham. That's how we come to not quite the end of our show, but let's take a look at this next insert.
Paul, the groundsman here at Villa Park, it's been very hard work just preparing this field.
It has, yes. I mean, it's been a bit of a challenge with us with just having 2 football games on it so close to the rugby and the quick turnaround. We had a game Tuesday night, cup game against Birmingham City.
Yeah.
So just a quick turnaround and to get this ready for rugby.
Yeah, it's the first time?
First time for rugby, yes. Yeah.
And how's it going? I mean, how deep is this hole?
The actual holes and the sockets that were put in were a 1.7 metre cube.
Yeah.
So it's quite a big, substantial hole for the amount of concrete they get in there. But with the posts sitting as high as they do at 17 metres,
yeah,
that's the required specification.
And then did you actually have to change the grass just to suit the rugby, big men?
Yes, yeah.
What type of grass is that?
It's all right grass. But all we've done really is just increase the length of it a bit more and probably just firm the surface up a bit more to what we'd have with football.
Paul, the size of the soccer pitch and the rugby pitch, they're different.
They are not greatly, but big enough to make a difference for us. The width is the same, 68 metres, so we're happy with that.
Yeah.
The length changed from 105 for football to 95 for rugby, which means that these two sockets that we've installed here sit just within our 6-yard box, which was always a bit of a concern, altering that at this time, well, during the close season and getting ready for a new season.
So if it rains, do you think it's going to hold up with scrumming and all that stuff?
Yeah, these pitches, they just train that quickly now anyway. We could water this all day long and we'd never get enough on it. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Well, it can't really just get better than this, to talk to the man who's been looking after this grass for the past 5 years.
Just goodbye. Well, thank you very much to Mac Messina as we continue to broadcast from our ABSA Red Bus, partnered by Barclay. It's been a wonderful first morning's broadcast from Birmingham, and as we saw there at the pitch, it's looking absolutely magnificent. The poles have been put up. It's ready for Rugby World Cup action, and crossing fingers for a victory for South Africa. 42,000 people will be able to pack into Villa Park, and I hope that we hear Nkosi Sikelel Africa reverberating throughout there, because I know that in the city of Birmingham there's going to be a lot of support for the South Africans. We will be broadcasting from outside of Villa Park tomorrow morning, so don't miss it right here on Morning Live, 7:15. Until then, goodbye.